get your bread and milk.
Thank you.
Okay. Then you know, no hurry.
Oh, right, because everybody got canceled now.
Same thing just happened to me last week. I was coming back from Los Angeles. I was supposed to come back into Boston on Saturday morning, and I got stuck in
yeah.
Florida, of all places, until Monday afternoon. They couldn't get anywhere. They're like, we can send you to Florida, that'll get you somewhere closer.
Thanks.
All right.
It's one of the best culinary schools in this country, so.
Oh, yeah.
I can handle it.
You'll manage.
All right.
We can give you a list of places to visit.
Awesome.
Okay.
I don't think we're on. There it is.
Good.
All right, good evening. Today is Monday, March 12th, 2018. The time is 7:20. West Warwick Pension Meeting in Town Hall Chambers. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Motion to dispense with items B and C would be in order in the interest of time.
David, just the motions on executive session.
Oh, yes, and we need motions on executive session.
Okay. Make a motion. Close, correct?
Yep.
Make a motion to close executive session and seal the minutes.
Motion's made.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
We need to reaffirm votes, correct?
Make a motion to reaffirm votes that were done in the executive session.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
And getting back to, do we want to dispense with B and C?
We just have to do the vote.
Or we have to do the actual vote?
Just the one vote that you, yeah.
That was,
Meet with the manager,
For the
correct?
COLAs, the board
Yeah.
to meet,
all right, that was,
provide disability, just to meet with the town manager
all right.
in regards to provide disability COLAs.
Make a motion,
To meet with the town manager.
Have the board.
meet with the town manager regards to the police and fire colas.
Just the
Fire
fire, just the
disability.
fire.
Just the fire, just the fire colas, all right.
Motion's made,
Second.
seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we can dispense with B and C. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to dispense with B and C in the agenda.
I second.
Motion's made, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, roll call.
David Lemoy,
Here.
Edward Fonseca,
Present.
Paul Bertrand,
Here.
Colleen Anderson, Albert Heru.
There.
Okay, approval of minutes, item E. Minutes from February 12th, 2018.
Make the motion we accept.
Second.
Motion's made, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'd like to skip to Clearbrook if we could. Is there a motion to move to item I to have the Clearbrook presentation?
I'll make a motion to skip to I, Clearbrook presentation.
Second.
Motion's made, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, item I, Clearbrook, if you don't mind, please.
Well, thank you so much.
Very well.
We much appreciate it. Evening, everyone.
Evening.
Hey, we've had some interesting times that we live in.
Okay, yeah, February was a
A
little rough.
little bit about it. So
Yeah.
what happened last year, everyone got bored. Nothing moved, nothing happened, so all of a sudden people wanted to bring some excitement into the markets. So you saw that we started very strongly in January. Obviously, the markets are up tremendously. The prospects of increased economic growth, et cetera, et cetera. Then something happened in February. What happened in February is that job numbers came out and all of a sudden wages were growing at 2.9%. That all of a sudden gave everyone a thought process that, oh my God, inflation is back, what's going to happen? And everyone, lack of a better financial term, freaked out. So the markets came back down 10% overall, and it was basically the thought process that the Fed would increase interest rate more than 3 times this year. It would increase 4 and more aggressively perhaps. And as you all know, when interest rates go up and bonds essentially go down in value, that interest rate, when they start paying more in bonds, takes away from the value of stocks. Stocks would look a lot more overvalued than bonds. So we had a decline from peak to the bottom of about 10% for that quarter, for that month. next couple of weeks,
Come back,
came back.
as you would.
As it would, because, we in the business always say that emotion will drive things short-term.
It
okay?
does.
In the end, what do you really look for? Has anything changed in terms of the economy? No. Actually, it's getting better. Two, is anything happening in the market in terms of earnings? No, actually, we had blowout earnings. So just to give you a sense, the S&P 500 for the fourth quarter of last year had a good year last year. When you're growing at better than 11% in terms of earnings, you're having a darn good year. Well, guess what? The numbers in the first quarter of the quarter of last year came at 15% increase in earnings. And that's not taking into account now the change in the tax law. Okay? As you all know, they have lowered basically the corporate tax rates
Thank God.
from 35 to 21. Okay? And that's going to increase earnings tremendously. The expectation when you came into this year was that the S&P earnings, stock market earnings, would be up 11%. They revised that all up now to 18. Any way you look at it, historically, those are great numbers. So we still believe that the equity markets should continue to go higher at this point in time. And that's effectively what's come out over the last several days. Earnings are solid. A lot of the folks around the world are basically saying the GDP growth rate in terms of the economics of the world will continue to improve as well. So with that all that's behind us, and the fact that interest rates are going to go up, that's a reality. Okay? The U.S. Fed is going to raise interest rates in March. That's a reality, and they will raise probably in September and December of this year. Okay? Bonds will go down in price. That's it. Okay? As long as the earnings are there, the equity market should do okay. When we saw you all last before, the holidays, we said, listen, we came into 2018 and made a 7% rate of return. We'd be very happy with that after a blowout year last
That's right.
year. So we're still on track to doing that right now. So John will go through the allocations, but we still have about 60% or so to equities. You still have about 22% in bonds. Okay, we'll explain the bond portfolio, what we've done with it, to hedge out some of the risk. And the remainder is still in alternatives, which has done pretty well.
Right.
Yeah, and Tim mentioned, the market's being down, and you have the February report.
Right.
Where we were down 2.9 in February.
Yeah.
Right? Well,
Yes.
I thought you were going to give a punchline, and that was,
No, I'll let you finish.
so since March, the portfolio is up over 2%. So on a year-to-date basis.
Year-to-date is
So
up
we've
to-
recovered, to your point.
Exactly.
They go down, they go up.
So we're up specifically 1.5% in March.
All right.
Is
It's
that
too early
attributed-
yet.
Is that attributed mostly to domestic equity, or is that,
Both domestic and international.
and how did alternatives respond as far as the market?
Actually, alternatives were up this month,
Okay.
which is good. So we'll take that as well.
You're
Sure.
jumping ahead to another punchline.
Sorry.
Exactly.
If you look at we've said time and time again when we come in here about our rationale for alternatives and
Right.
the types of alternatives we have is to buffer the portfolio to reduce risk. And just jumping ahead, if you look at the fixed income return on a year-to-date basis, and then you look at the total alternatives return on a year-to-date basis, you can see that they're doing their job in a big way. So, but anyway, just going back to the start of the report, already mentioned, the returns for the month. We're about 59% in equities. And within that, 33%, 34% is in domestic.
Domestic.
We did make a few changes. So we have had, and in past meetings, we've talked about our position on banks. And we were using Dodge & Cox active management
Cox.
in that space. We took a little money off the table there, and we took a little money off the table in the 500 index fund. And what we did was we added, you can see down at right before international equity, it's the Power Shares KBW bank portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
We added that. So it was a 50-50 split of those two sales, and we added it in February. And really that's to take advantage of the rising interest rates, some of the capital repatriation. These are the larger money center banks. It's not, the smaller regionals and locals. We feel that there's opportunity there. We are looking at the regionals, but we haven't made a decision on whether we're going to add that yet. So
Okay.
that's the biggest change in that. With respect to Silvercrest, that's probably the poorest performer in that space. We do believe that with some some of the tariffs, small caps are gonna benefit going forward. But we are evaluating Silvercrest and their position, and, not definitively sure that we'll make a change there, but that's an area, that's a fund that we're, just, for your information, we're just looking at.
If I remember before, you had said that these different companies, you talk to them, what, weekly, or is it every 2 weeks?
Quite a bit. I would say that the last time we talked to Silvercrest was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine, actually.
If
I mean, we're watching the performance, it's just,
you're talking to them, it's based on what your performance is showing. If it starts to have a problem, then you'll call them sooner.
well,
No,
No.
not necessarily, it's
Not too
when we
soon.
think there's something happening within that, in what they're doing, their strategy, that we'll call them. Because not only is it just Silvercrest, we see all of the managers that are doing the same thing.
Right.
So if we're seeing something that's radical within that sector, we're gonna call them regardless.
Okay.
It's not only just about performance, what do you think's gonna happen now
Down the
going
road.
forward? It's really important.
Right.
so we're in a pretty good position in that we have to review these investment managers, and we don't just call them when there's an issue with them. We're calling them to get their ideas and what they're looking at, and what themes they are seeing in the markets, and sometimes that translates into what we're gonna do in the portfolio, and you'll see that, you know, we've gotten feedback from managers on the bank position, some of the others, the emerging markets, lower down, emerging market debt is
Right.
another.
Well, being in the investment business, which I am, okay, I can relate to you two gentlemen, okay? Your job, you get paid to make this portfolio build up, okay? The more money we make, the more money you make.
Right.
Correct in saying that?
Correct.
And you know what? And you have the opportunity where you can speak to money managers where we can't.
Right.
Okay, I could do it my business because they want me to invest in money into their funds.
Right.
So you have the same opportunity. You're able to not only talk to the money managers, don't you also talk to the head people of the companies?
Completely.
Yeah.
That's the only people we really talk to.
Okay,
to be honest.
and what about, and do you attend investors meetings?
Yes.
There you go. So you know exactly what's going on. You know what the investors are feeling like. You know what they want. So you go by that.
Right.
And I'm very happy with what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
And what the investors should pick there, the choice, I'm very happy with them. And I know down the road, we're gonna have they're gonna have a big surprise to see how it's gonna be growing. Okay, because we're not looking for just today. We're looking down the road. It's long-term.
Right.
Equities are long-term, and the town's not going anywhere. The pension money's not going anywhere. You just gotta help us build it.
Yep.
Of course, we gotta put more in too. Thank you.
Yeah.
So with, going a little bit further down into the international portion, Causeway is another manager that we're watching.
Yeah.
We've had multiple calls with them in the last 3 months, and we'll continue to do that. John Hancock, that's a new option that we had and put in the portfolio. We've talked about it with you guys before, but in July, and that has done very well relative to, we used to have a fund in there with Oppenheimer, and relative to that, that's been I hesitate to call it a trade because it's an investment, but switching out of that one international growth for this international growth has helped significantly. Other newer positions, you know, the Eurozone, and then, and Japan, I think we talked about Japan last time. But those are, you know, again, ideas that we get from investment managers, from reading, going to investor conferences, those types of things that translate into the portfolio. The iShares Edge, multi-factor emerging markets ETF is another way to capitalize on emerging markets. It's not strictly passive. There are factors that are used in that by Barclays and BlackRock, and that was put in towards the end of the
And the reason we did that is the multi-factor ETF versus an index has a heavy weight to China. We thought China really dragged last year versus all the other international indices, and guess what? They've really come back and they're outperforming everybody else.
Exactly.
So knock on wood, lucky or good,
We're gonna
we
do
made
well.
the right choice.
Right.
which is good.
Okay.
And then within the fixed income space, I sort of talked about that a little bit, but the newest position is the Payden Regal Emerging Markets Bond Fund. We took some from the intermediate term bond index and double line, and just with inflation and some of the things that are going on in the global economy, we felt that was the right move. Now that has, you know, on the sheet basis points down, but on a year-to-date basis, it's come back fairly nicely.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's up 14 basis points in the last week since we put the trade on. So.
Good.
And the reason we did that was we felt that bonds itself, the Vanguard Index, it's gonna lose money this year. Emerging markets give us something that we don't have here in the US, which is yield. This portfolio is yielding 7%. I give my left arm for it, 7%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we think as interest rates go up, that's gonna insulate you from the down.
Right.
Actually, people are gonna start putting money in their gut.
Exactly.
I'm still getting 2 here, I'm gonna go get 7 there.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the yield, we're looking at shorter duration in the fixed income portfolio, less volatility, trying to be opportunistic.
Are you still expecting the Fed to raise 3 times or 4 times? I mean, I know.
3.
3.
So, I'll go on them, September, no, March, September, and then December.
All right.
Is what we think.
Okay.
Do you want to dig a little deeper into the alts, or we sort of talked about the relative performance?
Yeah, so Blackstone, if you all remember, it's a fund that effectively is invested in 15 investment managers. A good portion of it is long-term equity. Had a difficult, obviously, February, but overall, since inception, it's up 3.3 versus 2.7 since we put it into the portfolio. We think that will continue. Obviously, the February situation with
Yeah.
long-term equity didn't help at all. Graham is up, was down 70 basis points, but up close to 6% for the year, effectively. They're the ones that, if you remember, one of the big positions they have in their portfolio is they're short bonds.
Mhm.
As interest rates go up, they're going to continue to make money.
Right.
So that's the hedge in the portfolio that will accomplish that. Atlas Global is a fund that we felt had underperformed for a while, and if you look for inception, it was only up 0.2 versus 3.9. We've redeemed from that portfolio. Okay? We're going to get the money back in early April,
Mhm.
and then we'll make a recommendation and reinvest that.
Okay.
What ended up happening there is they were a very, very good firm for a long time. What ended up happening is their assets grew too fast. Over the last 4 years, they've gone from $7 billion, it just cost 13. When that happens, it's more about earning your management fees
Mhm.
versus performance. So we felt that it was the right time to come out. Renaissance has done okay, obviously because of their long bias in the portfolio. With the market down in February, they were down a little bit. But, they tend to outperform the market overall, over time.
Yeah, well,
And as
yeah,
you can see from their returns since inception, they're up 11%. So
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
No.
That's a good return.
Yeah, that's a
For
double
alternative,
return.
yeah.
Very good return.
Yeah,
Are
and then the Davidson Kempner, which is, if you remember, they're more mergers than acquisitions, they continue to grind it out. They're actually up another 10 basis points, so they're up almost 2% for the year. So when you add it up effectively, all we want the alternatives to do is, if we can grind out a 6 to 7% return in that area, a lot better than bonds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, again, even though bonds are going to lose money this year, you still have it as kind of your hedge. When the markets go bad, bonds
Bonds
tend to
go
go up in price, okay? So, but we have it smaller because we want the alternatives to give you the returns that the bonds we feel.
Plus, not only that, a lot of the bonds, they pay you, excuse me, they pay you a dividend.
Yeah,
You get, so those dividends are buying more shares.
right,
So when the shares go up now, they're gonna be worth more money.
right,
So-
exactly. You keep reinvesting, keep compounding.
You gotta keep reinvesting it,
Yeah,
exactly.
So, overall, we're happy with the portfolio.
Mhm.
We made a little bit of changes, and it's always because of the opportunity.
Well, that's what your job is, right?
And trying to make sure that we're not a lot of risk should something happen.
Right.
Like the February again.
Exactly.
That's,
Let's try to hedge the downside, let's try to pound out that 7% return.
Very good. Thank you, appreciate it.
And if there's anything that we should know about the asset allocation, any changes in the investment policy or anything like that, please let us know, and we'll adjust the portfolio accordingly.
Well, what I like, you guys are in charge, okay? I can tell by what you have here invested, okay? So what you have here, right, just keep doing what you're doing, okay? You're having a good, we're doing very, very well we're doing here, okay? Just keep doing what you're doing, and a lot of people don't know about the asset allocations and all that, okay? I just have a heads up because I'm fortunate, I'm in the business.
Yeah.
So I'm watching it, so I can tell. So when you come here, I'm gonna ask you questions. But if there's no questions to be asked, but I'll ask questions so they'll understand more too. And I think they understand a lot more now than they ever done before,
Good.
okay? especially with the people that they had before.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm sure they have a lot more answers today,
That's great.
okay?
Well, we'll try to keep it up.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, thank you all.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, getting back to the regular agenda, we have
That's good.
item F, is board council report.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, good night.
Safe trip home.
You too. You guys. Oh, sorry. We've received two, APRA Access to Public Record Act, requests, that I am currently working on. Otherwise, I believe everything that we have to discuss today has a separate agenda item.
Okay. Any questions for Chris at this point? Moving on to Rockland Clearbrook monthly expenses. I don't know if we have Rockland's numbers. And Clearbrook, I'll just read portfolio.
When it comes in, I can post it.
Sure. Ending market value on February 28th, 2018 is $35,582,864. That is a negative 2.9% for the month, as they explained. Year-to-date, we're 0.6%. And I believe his number, year-to-date at this point, now that's a couple weeks later, is up 2%. Was it 2, or did he give a little bit clearer number? He just said about 2% this
Maybe
far.
it's 1.6.
A little higher than 2% came out.
Right, since February 28th.
Yeah.
But that was the total as of that date. And I have nothing for Rockland. That includes all, I know last month, I think we had a question as to, did it include the alternatives? That's the entire portfolio, including the alternatives that Rockland doesn't have listed. Any questions? Item H, payment of bills. Number 1 is Olin and Penza. File number MBF 7372 in the amount of $3,400.50. And file number MBF 7372-25, that's the redraft in the amount of $518.00.
Okay.
I don't know if these were tabled, but they both list January.
They were tabled last month.
Yeah.
So both of these were tabled? Okay. So these are from
I had to
January.
add 200.
It was 3,200, you added to $200 you added.
Were they tabled last? I don't
Yeah,
know
we-
they were. Oh,
I just see January, so.
Yeah, well, that's, we did, it was
We
tabled.
tabled,
fine.
we tabled them to get through
Just to get through everything, we tabled
everything
it.
else.
But I have one question, the $3,400 for
Those are
January,
the January bills
right,
that are in there.
In the
Oh,
packet.
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
it's right here,
I
oh,
have
it's right
nothing
here,
else
I see
done
it,
yet.
it's right here.
Yeah.
We had to cut a
Oh, yeah,
lot.
no, you wouldn't get, yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
And I added the 200.
We just started March. You wouldn't have February
Yeah,
yet.
no.
February 12th.
I don't know what month
I
it is.
know, we're all.
The bill was
Yeah,
for
from the
$20.
last
Here.
bills that were paid, there was just,
I added
we
You
just
added
had an error.
$200.
The
I
total,
did. I wrote a note.
that's what the note is.
Okay, I
Do you
just
have a
have,
question, Ed?
I just have one other question. Do we have a contract with Olin and Penza? How does that go about?
Yeah.
We
I
have a
can get you a
contract with
copy.
you?
Mhm.
And when does the contract expire?
I think it's at will.
It's at will.
It's
Yeah,
at will?
it's
Or-
whenever you wanna get rid of me.
The original contract
can.
expired in 16.
It looks like
It
it's
expired in
fixed.
2016?
It was, there were, I don't know that
I don't think so.
there was a
I think it was
definite time frame. There were
the
different.
bills.
Right,
like the
right. There were
amounts.
different billing amounts. There was an escalator in the
Oh,
amount of the
right.
billing amounts,
Yeah.
and then it stopped. And it hasn't gone up since then. So 2016 was the last time that I think it went up $5. It was 175, 180, then 185. So for those 3 years, it went up $5 a year. And then in
Okay, so-
2016, it was 185, and it hasn't gone up since then because it's
So
been
we're
under
on
that
an
same
ongoing
contract.
basis right now?
Correct. Yep. Yep.
Thank you.
When did we start with your firm?
2013?
13?
12 or 13?
12? End of 12?
Maybe. I wasn't here, but
I wasn't here either. I think
2012, there was a lot of,
Yeah, either the end of
flux
that-
as far
I
as-
think it was 2012.
12?
that would be my best guess.
Thank you.
Any other questions
Nope, I'm
for
fine.
H1?
I make a motion we pay.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to pay the amount stated in H1. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
H2, Nyhart. We have several different items here. The first is actuarial administrative services for December 2017 GASB report revisions in the amount of $2,700. If the board doesn't mind, I'd like to do each individually. There's so
Yes,
many and they're all
please do.
separate. So the first is the $2,700 for actuarial administrative services for December 2017 GASB report revisions.
I have a question on that.
Yes.
These amounts, is that by contract or is that just,
Yeah, so similar to the council's contract is amount stated, so much per hour for actuarial services,
Yeah.
so much for research,
Yeah.
things like that. I don't know what they are. I'd have to have the contract in front of me, but.
so we have as a bill here for that amount of money, but it doesn't tell you what,
Exactly, they did.
yeah. My question is,
They don't list a,
yeah,
We should get a
and how
list.
do we know if we're getting our money's worth or we're getting screwed? Maybe I shouldn't say it that way, but,
No, that's a good word. I like that word.
I just, I've been looking at the expenses of everything, starting with
All in
young lady
pension.
sitting over there down the road.
Always.
But I'm just looking at the amounts of money going out each month, especially when I was sitting on that side, I didn't have all that paperwork, but, is there any kind of accountability, or
Yeah.
do we get any kind of breakdown or
The only
whatever?
thing
Can we ask for a list?
I'm sure we
Each time
could.
you give us a bill?
You
The-
mean from the actuary?
from the actuary.
They do list what they
Yeah, I was gonna,
calculate.
I know
But
it says here
On
invoice
something
number.
like that, they're just doing.
It's literally the
their-
same thing that you're reading. But
Okay,
he's
so-
saying like there's no hourly breakdown as
Oh,
to.
Like,
an hourly
But,
breakdown.
okay, you get a list, so we're just saying this right here. We
If we
have
get-
an invoice number, we have an invoice number 0136114. So on that invoice, you state exactly what they did.
Do we get that invoice?
It's right here.
They're all in your packet,
Oh, here you go,
so I
right
get
there.
what you're saying, it's just a
Again,
money
yeah,
amount.
but it's
They just
just
give
I'm
the-
looking at the benefit
That's-
calculation,
yeah,
it
this is-
says
It's
2
the other
at.
one?
This is what I'm
He's
saying,
talking
this is
about,
what I
right.
remember, it just tells you a number.
I can
2700.
ask them
Okay.
if they wanna give us.
A breakdown.
Yeah, I think we should do it. We should do that.
Like they do for the benefit calculations, if you
Hmm.
look, that's what I'm looking at, it'll say like 2 at $225.
For
They give
each
you the
ca-
name.
It's similar,
But
that's
you
listed in
want
the contract.
something similar like that for the reports on how many hours spent?
Yeah, 'cause that's just like
Well,
going
They
in a
I believe they
pencil.
charge us by the hour,
Yeah.
so if
I
they're
think
charging
they-
us by
You
the
do it.
hour.
I can ask
I
them.
mean, she
Yeah.
does it, Krista does it, so,
I
I'm
can
sure.
send an email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got all these here, and my concern
Yes,
is how do we
exactly.
know how many hours or what they're, if they're
Right.
sticking to the contract and so
Right.
forth?
Let's say 9 months.
You know, so many hours at such and such per
I can
hour
send an
would be.
email.
what the performance was, what they
Right, if
do.
you- If you could do that, that way we
Hours
can
like
look
worked
at,
on the reports, because the other stuff they give us,
and
and then the rate.
who has a copy of that contract that we have with them?
The actuary, I have it.
Is it
Okay,
in the-
could,
That's not in
No,
there.
contracts are-
Yeah.
can you send me a copy of that, please?
There's a Nyhart, Clearbrook, and mine, if you wanna have Tracy send you all three. Those are the
Please.
three.
Let's do that.
That'd be great.
Like I say, I've been starting to look into,
Right, yeah, too much.
I just, not saying we're paying too much or not paying enough, whatever, I just
Just
wanna
wanna
look
see
at
some
them and see if there's,
documentation, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That seems fair.
it shouldn't be keep going all the time with nobody questioning things, so.
Mm.
What's in the rate, right?
Give us peace of mind.
I'm gonna ask a lot of questions, so
Good,
might as well
I
get
like
used to it.
questions.
Okay. Any other questions on the invoice stated $2,700?
So do we have to pay all this all at once?
That's why I'm gonna do it,
No, but we
Item
don't
by
have to pay it
item.
all at once, right? Let's save that big one, that's 70, where is it, 5 grand, 7,500? That's a biggie.
right, that's why we're gonna do them separately.
Yeah,
Right.
this makes,
Hi,
I have a question, it might be a stupid question, but I'm not sure. It's clear, the money in the pension, is there liquid money, or is all top in?
no,
Yeah, that's the cash.
there's money
There
market.
was a
There's
cash-
there's a cash
There's a-
reserve
there's
that-
money market,
there's a
yeah,
cash amount right near the very bottom,
right.
So it would be the
Oh,
citizen select.
The total cash? the
more than
the wire, so-
34,000.
So that would be what's used to.
To pay
Money
bills,
market.
pay bills, okay, I
Everything.
gotcha.
And then they just keep the
So
percentages.
they would just draw the money from
I think it's
the
like-
stocks and the bonds there, or whatever you have.
I don't know what
That-
the
that-
listed
Yeah,
percentage.
that's what they use the cash.
Right, so they do have
It's in a.
cash, and
Yes,
it
they
says
do.
474,000, is
Right,
that?
so they go more percentages, and right now, percentage of portfolio that's cash is 1.2%. So I'm assuming they're keeping 1% of the portfolio, it could be 2%, and they're just trying to
Right.
keep,
Right.
Right,
so
this is
as,
right. I
as the
actually
fund
understand now. Okay.
fluctuates, they just try to keep at least 2% cash
Yeah, and there's
Over
434,000 in there,
right now, yeah.
so.
Or-
I'm trying to remember the name of what, I'm sorry, the person from Clearbrook just said, but the board has a, investment
Yeah, like a-
suggested percentage of how much you have in stocks, how much you have in whatever,
Yeah,
and
just
then
try to
how much
stick
you have
to that.
liquid.
Looking
And they
at it.
try and keep it to the percentages that the board has, that should be with the Clearbrook contract,
Yeah,
Yeah.
investment
I think it is.
policy,
investment policy statement.
that's what it
Yep,
is.
and that's the percentages that in conjunction with
Well,
Clearbrook,
that's what he's
the
talking
board
about,
had
the
gone through.
allocations,
Right.
that's what he's talking
Correct,
about,
and,
allocation.
and that's an investment policy statement that's approved by the board, so with review with Clearbrook, if you decided you wanted, instead of having, 1% cash, you wanted 10% cash.
Do we
I don't
have
know
that?
why, but if you did, you could change those
Do we,
percentages.
do we have that?
That's in with the Clearbrook contract, yep,
Oh, 'cause it should be with the contract.
yep.
So when you see the contract, you can
Yeah.
see the allocations.
Again, like I said, that goes back to what I said, we've done this done deal and that's it, and nobody's ever,
Right,
should
Yeah.
we look at it and say, should we change that percentages or not?
yeah.
It
That's
might
all.
be called IPS,
I think that's what it is.
yeah, when,
I
the
actually
actual
wrote that.
document, okay. there you go.
That is what it's going to.
Okay. So you need a motion for the 2,700 then, sir?
Correct, yep.
Make a motion to pay, let me find it here. Gatsby, reports revision for December 2017, amount of $2,700.
There's a motion,
Um, That invoice, 01361114.
Correct.
yes, yep.
Yes, I second.
Motion's made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye,
Aye. Okay, second one is actuarial and administrative services for January 2018 experience study in the amount of $7,500.00.
so what kind of experience do they study?
Yeah, as a newcomer, what does that
So
mean?
the experience study, they've been doing it every 3 years? Is that right, Tracy?
Yeah, they came to the last meeting, remember you guys signed the contract?
Okay,
We're
that's
not
what it
gonna
was.
do it, so you kinda have
It's
to
state
take
law,
it.
you need
and
an
go
experience
on.
study done every 3 years, and basically what they do is they look back and see if all of their demographic information is making sense, everything's making, so if they're expecting retirees to pass away at a certain age, let's say 88 years old, they wanna look back and say, all right, well, we
I
had,
get you, all right.
the last 3 years has shown, yeah, 88's working correctly, or no, that's way off, and we need to adjust.
So-
That was at, I remember that you
Yeah.
in December.
So you do
that was
every
it.
They'll
3
work
years.
so many years.
Every
Is
3
that
years?
a one-time fee, or is that gonna be monthly?
That's the one-time
That's a
fee for
one-time
the
fee,
study,
yeah.
and we're gonna
Study.
need 3 years from now to do another,
Right.
and then 3
Okay.
years after, that's Rhode Island law.
So they
Alright,
charge
so
us
if it's for 3
2,500 a
years,
year.
can we pay
I
in
don't
thirds?
An installment.
I don't think so, I think the work done needs to be paid for in that case.
I'm trying.
It's 2,500 a year.
I guess I would
That's a
make a motion
biggie.
to,
That's a biggie. Can
pay
we hold
invoice,
off?
01368843.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Fee for services, 10-year projection. This one is a little different. This one I don't know what it is, to be honest with you.
I sent an email to them to question them.
Yes,
I
yeah.
asked if it was the town or the pension board's responsibility. They just said back then it was the town and the school's projection, so it's like theirs, so I think.
So why are we gonna pay for it?
It may have just-
Try to have them see if the
So
town
I
can
make a
pay
motion that
for
we
it.
table this until we get further information.
Because it's talking about school here also.
That's
I know,
right.
I think we
Yeah.
should maybe send it to the town and see if they'll pay.
Yeah, I won't pay it.
We'll go from there.
You want to include that in your motion to table and submit it to the,
Submit it to the
Town.
school, whatever,
To the town.
to the town.
I second that.
motion's made and seconded to table invoice number 10136302 and forward it to the town. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Just gonna put a note here, tabled. Okay, actuarial and administrative services for December 2017 in the amount of $450. This was tabled from last meeting, correct?
Yeah, I was just in the interest of time,
Yeah.
we were going through them.
So it's two applications, the amount of 225
I
each.
make a motion to pay invoice, 01365570.
I have a question.
Sure.
Never mind, I just answered my own
Okay.
question.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made second, all in favor?
Aye.
Actuarial Administrative Services for December 2017, travel expenses in the amount of $600. This was for their report in December.
Okay, now.
We
I-
have to pay
Yeah,
that?
I have a, yeah,
That's part of the contract, I would assume.
it's part
Is
of
it
the
in the
contract.
I believe it is, yep.
Well, why don't we do this here? Why don't we, I'd like to make a motion to table until we look at the contract to see if it's actually in there and what the amount is.
Are we gonna incur any fees if we delay paying that? I don't wanna be, I know it's already,
I know, do we?
since December, I mean, I don't know if,
That's because we tabled them already.
'Cause we tabled it
Not that
already.
I know of,
alright,
but don't quote me on that.
alright.
So what do you want to do?
I haven't seen
I would,
anything.
I would suggest, I mean, we
Alright,
could
let's
pay
say
it,
it.
cause we're pretty sure it's in the contract, and if we find out it's not in the contract, then we would ask
Or
for,
if the amount's
a
different or
credit.
something, right.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
We'll all have.
You're gonna do
Yeah.
that, so I'll look through it after, and we'll go through it.
Okay.
So we're gonna pay it?
Just pay it.
I'm almost 90%
I understand.
sure it's in part of the contract that we
Mhm.
pay travel expenses. Cause otherwise we could have them come here
Well, here's
every
what's
month
gonna
and give a
happen, she's gonna
report.
give me all these contracts.
And then we'll look
We're
at
gonna
it.
look through them.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I like
We
how you
will,
said
we
that,
will,
yeah.
we will. No, 'cause I'm
look-
interested too. I wanna know.
Oh, it's okay, but we'll go through it and see.
Okay.
Sounds
We'll
good.
compare, I'll do one set of bills here, we'll see how it works.
All right,
Make a motion that we pay it.
second,
I wanna give you the number so we got, for the
Okay.
record, that is, invoice 0136570, $450.
No, they're all
No,
one.
Next one.
600. The next one.
The next one.
6646.
Oh, sorry, I'm one behind.
the travel expenses.
0136646 for $600. Make a motion we pay for travel expenses December 2017.
Second,
Motion's made second and all in favor?
Aye.
Actuarial Administrative Services, December 2017 annual statement in the amount of $3,060.
all right, now hold on a minute. Okay, that's a experience study. But this says actuary and administrative services for January. Oh, this is for December, okay.
I don't know if I have pension account written on mine.
That was my question, sorry, I just put little
It
notes.
says
okay.
here, for benefits, annual benefit statements.
These were the statements that, so when we renegotiated the contract with Nyhart, we asked about having benefit statements. Employees were asking, could we get those? It was one of those things that, we haven't done it in several years. We used to
Yep.
do it for the
Right.
employees. They would get a statement saying,
Right,
you know, your normal retirement date is this date.
Right.
At this point, you've had this many years accrued. Your pension is this much this far, that sort of thing.
Okay.
They offered to set up the services to provide that for free, but we had to pay per member $10. So there's 306 participants, $10 each, $3,060.
That's gonna be every month?
That would be annual. So it was under,
This is an
My
annual fee
understanding-
to set up,
no, the setup was covered by Nyhart. They were able to do that for free for us.
okay,
But they were gonna charge us $10 per member to do it for each person. So if you have 200 employees, $10 each, $2,000, they would do it. So, my opinion, it's more of an active employee's benefit. I would say this is more the town to offer to
Right,
their employees, you know,
yeah.
what do you expect to get when you retire? This is more of an HR
Right.
type of thing.
mm-hmm,
I was just gonna say, they're setting up no fee, that kind of stuff, because they can
Right.
just go into the computer, do the search, put it out.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, but if the employees ask for it, that's for the town.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So my opinion is we would, again, with this one also, forward it to the town. If they wanna pay for it, great, they can do it every year if they want to. If they want us to pay for it, I think unfortunately we're stuck with the bill, but it's not on us to do this anymore. This was one of those things that they,
If we get stuck with it, is this is December 1st to December 31st of
Right.
2017, so is there gonna be another one for January?
this was the, no, this was the one, we've already, as an active employee, I
Yeah.
got one, you got one too.
Yeah,
right?
we go on, it's yearly.
It just shows what you've put in so far and what you expect
Right.
to get.
But
at
we
this
didn't have
point.
to pay for that.
We pay, well, they're charging
Charge
us $10 each
$10.
person.
Right, that's what I'm saying, every month, when they
No.
put that,
Every
no,
year.
once a
Maybe
year.
once a year comes out.
So this month's gonna be once a year,
This would be, so next year, this time, they're gonna probably charge us the same thing.
And from my.
if they're charging $10,
My
right.
opinion is let the town pay for it.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
that's active employees.
Yes, I agree.
From my experience, papers, 90% of it are wrong, so.
Yeah, I wasn't too impressed with it
I mean,
myself.
it was not an impressive piece of paper.
No.
I make a motion that invoice number 0136645 in the amount of $3,060 be forwarded to the
Tom.
town.
Second.
Motion's made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, last one for Nyhar, actuarial and administrative services for benefit estimates from January 1 to January 31st, the amount of $175. And it's just one benefit
person.
estimate.
Refund, okay. Make a motion, we pay invoice 0137272 for the $175 for January 1st to January 31st, 2018.
Second.
Motion's made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's it for Nyhart. Number 3. I just want to ask council, the item that is in parentheses, that should not be stated in open session, or is that okay?
No, it's okay that it's not
Okay.
in me, just not the results.
Okay, so the name is fine.
Yep.
Okay. Item H3, Franklin Mirror, MD, in the amount of $1,250.00 for independent medical examination for Mar.
Make a motion, we pay the $1,025 to Franklin Area MD. What's that?
$1,250. Is that, what did he say,
That-
12,000?
He
I
said
said
$1,000.
Did I say 12,000?
He said $1,025.
He's gonna be happy.
$1,250, I sit corrected.
Is that standard procedure?
As far as,
Paying for them
His,
to go to
his bill is,
Yeah, the IME's cost.
Yeah.
courts,
Yeah.
but we incur the costs.
it has, it's itemized down in there.
Where's the bill?
I saw it.
They're on
Yeah, they're
the
in
different
here.
color.
Yeah.
Oh, right
Yeah,
here,
it's
health
right out there,
insurance, right
Nyhart.
there.
It's-
Yeah, right,
Looks like that.
there you go.
Oh, yeah, so
I read that the
Right
other
here,
day.
right here, health
Yeah,
insurance,
I read it the other day.
Ooh.
Yep,
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
this one.
Yep, there's two of them. So that one and the one right before
One's
it.
for the next one, there's one
There
there.
you go.
950 and 300. Independent medical evaluation and records review.
This is not covered under healthcare?
No, it's
No,
because
it's
we
an independent
requested.
exam. They're not treating them, they're just looking at them because we asked them to.
Oh, they're evaluating them, okay.
Right.
All right.
a motion on the floor to approve item H3. Is there a second?
Second.
And seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, H4, Orthopedic Associates Incorporated, in the amount of $975.00, also IME for Mar.
Make a motion, we pay $975 to Orthopedic Associates Incorporated.
So the total cost for this here was $2,225 for IME.
Yeah, two separate
Right.
occurrences,
Alright.
There was a motion and a second.
Motion's made and seconded for item H4, all in favor?
Aye.
We already did I, was another presentation. Item J, return of contributions. The first, when was this out of order?
Okay, where was that?
First is for James Jaworski, Police Department. Term is, end date is February 2nd, 2018, the amount of $23,175.34. And he signed off on these, correct?
Yeah, they all did, either an email or on the paper.
Very good.
You doing James
Yes,
first?
Jaworski right there, okay.
Yes, James is first. J1, James Jaworski, $23,175.34.
That's the one we get the correction on the address.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
okay.
had him write his address.
His writing wasn't that
That's
clear.
for this too.
Yeah, again, this is a new question for,
Yep,
for a new
sure.
member there. So, what I'm looking at is, I guess he's just separating with the town.
Yeah, so he doesn't qualify for
He
any
doesn't qualify for
benefit besides
benefits.
his return of
Give him his money,
Contributions.
basically his money back plus
plus interest.
plus interest.
Correct. Yep.
You need these as separate motions?
Yeah, we'll do them separately,
Okay.
J1 and J2.
Make a motion that we, pay to James, Jaworski,
Yes, Jaworski.
termination date of 2/2/18 in the amount of $23,175.34 for return of contribution.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Jillian's here. Jillian, item J2 is Jillian Lang, library. Termination date is January 6, 2018. The amount is $21,751.32.
And she agreed to that. Okay.
Yes, she agreed.
Make a motion. We pay Jillian Lang from the library department. Termination date of 1/6/2018, the amount of $21,751.32 for return of contributions.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded for J2, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item K, applications to approve. We have Lester Petrarca, School Department, normal retirement, January 3rd, 2018, and the monthly amount of $2,380.01.
Okay, he's right there.
Has he seen the figures yet? Or, I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, he signed on the.
He signed on
paper,
those.
And then Ronnie, remember I
List
showed
of
you the
Petrarca,
email?
Yeah.
right there, list of Petrarca.
Right.
I don't even see that in here.
Yeah, right there's, right there, Petrarca, Petrarca.
Okay.
It's
hold
in
on.
there, it's in there.
See, I go by the stuff they sent me earlier, and there's a couple changes in it, so I gotta find the paper one for it.
Here it is, just use one. He signed it on it.
The weights in there, okay.
They have a 5-year COLA freeze?
We do.
Yeah,
Oh.
2024,
Looks good.
tax freeze figured in, all right. Does he have a copy of this?
Cost of living, 2%.
I mean, the Quattro here he's talking about,
The who?
the Quattro that's talking about, he knows about that?
The quattro.
See, it says right here.
That's just put in to.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
that's
in
just standard
everybody's,
language.
he
Basically-
doesn't have
Okay.
one.
Yeah, if
Alright,
you have
okay.
one, it's just
No.
standard language. Okay, is there a motion on item K1?
K1, make motion to accept, is there a reference, I can, just his application for a pension for, Lester Petrarca? Is that okay?
Are you accepting or approving?
Approval.
Oh, approving,
Yeah.
approving.
The figures, so.
These are approvals.
You can just motion to approve
Yeah,
K1.
I'd make a motion to approve the figures for Lester Petrarca.
Motion's made,
Second.
seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
And Ronald Odzenkowski, I believe it's supposed to be 2, it's also listed as 1. Normal retirement, January 31st, 2018. Amount, we do have figures for him as well.
Yeah, we
Uh,
got these.
$3,114.07 monthly benefit
Just
for
wanna take a peek at
Odzenkowski.
it, that's all.
There you go.
Yeah,
Oh, after 20 years with the police.
22 years of service.
Cost of living,
motion for K2
Make a motion for K2
to approve?
to approve for, you want to read the whole thing out?
Yeah, no, as long as you motion to approve K2.
Motion to approve K2 for Roland Ozakowski.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we'd like to thank them for their service. Item L, Edward Marr. We do have IMEs for him. And we needed a motion to
Motion to,
approve getting figures correctly.
right, motion to
For,
approve to
for
get
occupational
the numbers from,
disability.
Wait, hold on a second.
numbers from the trust
That's
and
what you
I,
want.
and IHOC.
You wanna, yeah, for an occupational disability,
That was his application, right?
yeah. His app is in there, you already
Yeah.
received it,
Yep.
but he had applied for occupational disability, and we sent him to the IMEs.
Yep.
Right,
And
Okay.
then, depending on what you guys agree with,
Just-
so you can authorize him to get his figures.
Get the figures.
Just another quick question, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Chris. So we accept the application
Mm-hmm,
and then
and receive it.
we receive the application, okay, that's what I'm getting messed up. We receive the application, say, all right, here's your application, then we approve to get the numbers.
Yes.
And then you approve the final numbers when they come in, so it's a three-step process.
No, it's a two-step process, but with the IMEs involved, this one was, it
An extra
puts the
step.
That is an
three
extra
step.
step, okay.
Yes,
I
and
get
normal
it
is
now.
just the two.
Yep. All right. So
Um,
just, make a
This would,
motion.
this would be almost receiving the application
I get you,
to
okay.
get it,
To get,
In
to
a
go,
way,
right.
yeah.
to get figures.
So I make a motion, we, accept, to get the numbers for Ed Mar.
I probably use the word us, Krista, but to approve, at
Yeah.
least mention the occupational disability and the offset, something on that motion.
You've all received the IMEs, so if
Yes.
you've reviewed the IMEs and you agree that the
Right.
person would qualify for an occupational disability, you
Okay.
can move
Use
to
those terms
approve
somehow.
an occupational disability and request that the clerk get the figures and any workers' comp
Offsets.
offset
Offset.
information.
Mhm.
If you vote to approve an occupational disability after having reviewed the IMEs,
Mhm.
that's what you could do.
Can't say we could do what you just said, no.
Make a motion to, application to approve Ed Mar's disability, occupational disability, and for the clerk to get the numbers from the trust and IHOC and workman's comp for any offset. That include it all?
Do we get most of it?
Because I'm trying to read down what my notes were,
So
and I
that's
think.
good, that's better, yeah.
I second.
All right, motion's made and seconded to approve Edward Marr occupational disability and request the clerk to get the figures and from the trust and the town to
NIHOC
calculate
and workman's
the
comp.
workers' comp offset. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, item M, Regulation 6. This was brought to us a couple months ago, I believe. It's more of just house cleaning. We have a regulation that says we keep a list of doctors for use in IMEs, which for us to maintain that list to use once every couple of years really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So we had the board council draft a amendment to Regulation 6 to basically use the trust's lists of approved physicians, but kept the same certifications and requirements that were necessary in the current regulation. Is that correct?
Yep.
So this is just a vote to approve the amended Regulation 6.
It's the one that looks like the town limits.
Yes.
Nope.
Well, kind of.
Nope.
Nope, that
No.
one was the other one.
No, that's not the one, this one.
The reg
That's right.
Killed me.
We're not rewriting it.
That's why it looks like an ordinance, 'cause it is.
six.
Put it over there already.
I'm tapping them now.
There it is. There it is. Any questions on item M, Regulation 6? Is there a motion? Motion to approve, I would say, approve the amendment to Regulation 6.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the amendment to regulations, 6.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Tracy, I think I sent this to you in Word.
Which one, the
The
reg
Reg 6.
I could just email it?
Just on the bottom where it says adopted and amended, just change it from February to March. And then everybody can just replace it in their packets.
I'll bring it to the next meeting.
Okay, item N, recertification for disability pensioners procedure. This is going back several months now from the town, requesting that we perform our duties in having a disability pensioner recertification procedure. We didn't have a procedure, so the board council drafted a ordinance form procedure to use going forward for recertification of disability pensioners. I know we had a couple of amendments as far as like dates and things like that.
Yeah, so I presented it to the board, well, a few months ago, I think, but last month it was tabled by the board to have more time to review it. The changes that have come up, so the version that was presented to the board last month were just changing it from proposed ordinance number 2017 to 2018. And then adding in the title that it's an ordinance amending Article 4 of the West Warwick Pension Plan for Police and Fire and Article 4 of the West Warwick Pension Plan excluding police and fire. In the third whereas, it just references the plan excluding police and fire, so amending that to add and for police and fire.
Right.
And that's it.
So more continuity than anything, right? This first page is more just,
Right, those
Yeah.
were those are the only suggestions,
Yeah.
of changes from the board from last month. So if you approve the proposed ordinance, then the clerk can send it to the town clerk to present to the town council as a proposed ordinance, and that's who will actually pass it if they so choose.
Right.
Do we leave on the very last page, the very bottom there, 2/12/18 for date?
That's just my note of
Okay.
where I saved it.
All right, nope, no
But
problem.
we can, that can actually be taken off completely.
Take it off, all right, okay. All right,
So this is basically just a recommendation to the council as far as a procedure to perform a recertification.
Correct,
And
it's just a
so once they
recommended
receive it,
ordinance.
they can,
They'd
If
be
they
able
want-
to
choose to
amend it
adopt.
however they want it.
is there a motion for item N or any questions?
make a motion for the, to approve the recertification for disability pensioners procedure and to send it to the council.
with the revised changes.
With the revised, yeah, thank you, with revised changes that we just discussed and, those, and the dates and the wording.
I second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve and submit to the town council. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item O, Babola Quadro. This is an existing quadro before we had a regulation that said we don't do quadros anymore, so we have to kind of honor it. There was a question that we received from the ex-spouse, correct? For Babola.
Correct. The clerk received a question from the retiree's ex-spouse.
Essentially asking how the pension will
just-
be treated in the case of certain events happening. I would suggest the board forward the question that she has to her quadro attorney and also the member's quadro attorney first, and see if they have any suggestions on how they wanted to proceed with her questions. If that makes any sense.
You did an executive session.
We did.
That's not now.
I just want to not say too much.
Right.
We know
For
the
personal stuff.
identities of both parties'
Okay.
attorneys.
Okay.
So the clerk could send the question to both attorneys and indicate that you've received it. I would also suggest that the member receive a response that indicates that if that's the action the board wants to take, so that the person knows that, how the board is addressing it.
Okay.
Okay, so make a motion to send this question to this,
The two attorneys, I don't,
Two
if I could
attorneys.
just have him.
I can give you the names.
Okay. basically ask that one simple question.
You can just say, we received this question,
Yep, okay.
and then I would let the person asking the question know, you know,
Right.
to address it to her attorney.
And meanwhile, we have their quadros, we can review it
Oh, yes,
ourselves
yes,
also,
yes.
right?
If you want, the clerk has the quadro,
We
so
can
she
look at
could
it
email all
ourselves.
of you a copy. If you wanted to table it to next month
Yeah,
so
we
that you
table it.
can review it in the meantime,
Alright,
We look forward to question
So
and,
don't send it right now.
it's up to,
Oh, okay.
it's up to the board.
Oh,
If you,
you could
or
s-
if you want to table it and all of you have a copy of the quadro, you can review it.
I would
Um,
definitely like the input from their councils also.
All right, so I'll send it, I'll
Yeah.
send them the quadro,
So that way we
and
can
then I'll
come
put it
next
on
month.
for next agenda, and hopefully we
Yeah.
have some,
We can have like our
All sides.
opinion
I
and their
just need-
opinion.
right,
Krista to send me the two attorneys.
Yes,
and
I will-
That's the general basic question.
So a motion would be,
I'll notify both of them that I'm contacting their attorneys as well. Either via
I-
a motion would be in order for tabling item O and also contacting the parties' attorneys.
want to second that motion or is it?
No, you'd have to make the motion.
Okay.
But it would be in order.
I make a motion to send the question to the attorneys and table the item until, next month.
Motion's made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have to excuse myself on the vote on this one.
Oh. Alright, that's fine. We still do
Still
that?
three, it's three to, right, three
We don't have
votes.
a quorum.
You don't have a quorum.
It wouldn't affect the outcome, Al. So I would say, I
Didn't
mean,
we
if
agree on that though
This is
originally?
just
you're
a
not
second.
making any changes
Okay.
to the
It's-
benefit, so I mean, if you still feel uncomfortable, by all means, but, you know,
You can put on the record if you want to recuse yourself from any vote that has to do with these parties, that's fine. If you
Does that affect a quorum though at that point?
yes. If you don't vote, there's not a quorum.
It's just to send the question.
So why don't we
Yeah.
just table it?
it'll be tabled. I
Well,
guess.
this is just to table it until then.
Yeah, table it, you could get the woman, what's her name, Helene here,
Right.
Yeah,
and then we'll have a quorum. So I make a
It-
motion, go ahead.
It'll
By
automatically table.
default.
You don't have a quorum.
All right, so we
Right.
table.
So it's
All right, go on.
tabled to
And in the
next month.
meantime, I'll instruct you to contact the attorneys. Right? We
That's
could-
fine.
We could do that. We don't need a motion to do that.
Go ahead.
That's all I'm doing, yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Well, I'll
Next,
just get the motion on.
Okay, item P, opt-out for police and fire disabilities.
Oh, excuse me, Krista, but the motion can stay to table, right?
No, but it
No?
but
It will.
it will table
But it will,
because there
yes,
is no
but I
quorum
gotta cross
today.
this off. Okay.
There's no motion.
Sorry, okay.
There's no
Just
quorum.
get it. Yep.
just for that one.
Just that one.
Just
because,
that one, 'cause I-
right,
Right.
because there's
Yeah,
a board member.
you came here for a reason. It's not gonna be wasted.
So,
That's the whole meeting over again. Okay, opt-outs for police and fire disabilities. Is there any progress on that?
Tracy and I met with the town manager last week,
Mhm.
and have made a lot of progress.
Okay.
And are waiting from input from the town solicitor, on some of the questions that had been, raised. And in the meantime, Tracy has also gone through and, calculated some benefits to verify, what certain people who opted out of the consent judgment are receiving.
Okay.
So there has been lots of progress made, but at this point, we need to wait on some additional input from the town.
Okay. All right,
That'll be tabled.
yeah, we can probably table that till next month.
Make a motion, we table item P, opt-out police and fire disabilities till next month.
Second.
Motion's made, seconded to table item P. All in favor?
Aye.
COLAs for fire disabilities. We had the motion taken earlier.
Yep.
I don't know if we need any further action on item Q.
You can just discuss it if
Yeah.
you want, it's fine. It's just, it's the same question that we discussed last month.
Right.
We discussed it in open session last month, that there's a question that's come up with the consent judgment for the IAFF, and the way that disability retirements are treated in relation to their receiving COLAs. So that, the board's been presented with that question. And at this point, the board is going to seek more input from the town as to how those COLAs and, in the consent judgment interact.
Okay. All right, any further questions on item Q?
I would say probably table that till next week, too, would
Okay.
be my recommendation,
All right.
and try and have the meeting in between.
Very good. So item Q, is there a motion?
Item Q, make a motion to table till next month, item Q, COLAs for fire disabilities.
Second.
Motion's made, seconded to table Q, all in favor?
Aye.
Item R, COLAs for police disabilities.
Same thing.
That is a question that was actually received by the clerk from the town manager. The board I think 2 months ago actually, asked for additional information to be able to answer the question.
Right. Yeah.
And we haven't received the extra information yet that's needed to be able to answer the question, because it depends on what contract the person would be retiring under, and/or what category they fall in.
In that contract. 'Cause
Correct.
It's an active employee question?
We don't know.
All right. So we don't really
So
have anything.
town pulls us up.
The town asked a question, but we asked for more details on, to be able to answer it, and we just haven't gotten more details yet.
I
Okay.
sent an email.
So the ball's back in their court.
Correct.
Yeah, I
So
would say maybe send another, yeah, if
I
you-
could send another one.
yeah, just what's the status, and otherwise we're just gonna drop it.
Drop that, okay.
Need a motion for that?
Yeah, we can table it for now.
Motion to table.
Motion to table item Q,
R.
COLAs for police disabilities, and the clerk to.
Item R.
We already
R.
did Q.
Item R, COLAs for police disabilities, and for the clerk to send a second request to the town manager requesting more information.
Second.
Motion's made, seconded to table item R, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item S, workers' compensation / pension contributions.
This is an ongoing project that the board has in trying to put together a guide for human resources regarding how different leaves of absence, workers' compensation, IOD, things like that, are treated with respect to how pension contributions are made, and how the leaves of absence calculate into the figures. Specifically, the question has come up on the municipal side multiple times because of the 10-year look back. What happens with, if there's a break for a leave of absence or for workers' compensation, and what contributions are being made or aren't being made during those breaks. So that's something that I've been putting together. I would recommend tabling that. We weren't able to talk about that in executive session today, given our time constraints. So I would recommend tabling that to April so that the board can review that memo.
Okay.
Motion to table item S, workers' compensation pension contributions.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to table item S, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Item T, pension board opinion form 2018-1 and form 2018, excuse me, 2018-2. I have two. I have one somewhere.
First one is what, this is, we do the name?
LeBlanc.
Yeah, we can state the name, correct, the person asking the question?
You can, you don't have to, you can just say the question.
Okay.
If you have question one, go ahead. I don't know where but
I got it.
It's a question about where a non-union administrator in the school would fall.
I have do you want to read the email?
Oh, yeah, here it is, yeah.
All right. It is my understanding that I am contributing to the non-union administrators municipal pension fund. Fred Presley said that it is the same pension category that Ken Townsend is in. It is my understanding that the two of these what was that?
Two of us are.
Two of us are
Yeah.
the only two school employees that fall under this section of the municipal pension fund. Under this category, I believe that I can retire after 10 years of full-time service in the age of 55.
Basically, that's the question right there, is can this individual retire, and at what age and what year of service do they need? We did have correspondence asking specifically, what does your policy statement say, and they said they don't have one.
Right.
But they are making contributions to the fund. We We can allot some time for council to research the issue, we can look it up ourselves, we can have Tracy look into it further. I don't know how much you've looked into it so far.
Well, I was trying to get that
Yeah.
personnel policy to see, so then after that, I mean, I can look in the school CBA to see if it references non-unions, which I'll
Yeah.
give it a whirl and say,
I would say the school CBA and the 06 municipal plan
Yep,
and see if it
and see,
references school
you know, so I
non-unions.
can
Yeah.
bring it to the next
It's not, I
meeting
mean, it's not time
before.
sensitive.
Yep,
It's just a general question. Obviously, the person wants an answer, but they're not planning
she's
on.
got time
Yeah,
now too.
so, I mean,
You wanna do these as separate?
yeah, we can do them separate.
Sure.
Okay, make a motion for Form 2018-1, be tabled, and that the clerk do more reference to the school department and the contract determine where she fits in that situation.
Second.
Motion's made, seconded to table, question 1, all in favor?
Aye.
And question 2, we have,
Andre.
all right. Good morning, Tracy. Quick pension question, not sure who to ask. The current contract states you may retire upon the attainment of age 62 and completion of 12 years of service. Are we still vested at 10 years and able to collect a pension at 65 years old? I'm assuming this is a municipal, other than police and fire. I don't know the answer to that question off the top of my head, but I'm sure she's a union member, part of the collective bargaining.
Yeah, I think I can do that, and I'm gonna just reach out and see what exactly she means by
Okay.
the second question.
All right,
The first one I know the answer to, I
Alright.
can just print it.
all right. Yeah, that should be pretty
Make-
easy, but,
Make a motion, Form
Mhm.
2018-2, be tabled to next month, and that the clerk look into the contract and see where this particular party falls in, with reference to her question.
Second.
motion's made and seconded to table item, I'm sorry, table question 2. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item U, applications. This is just the application form, adding any leaves of absences that the member is aware of on their form. Just makes it easier for the clerk and Nyhart to,
Yeah.
keep track of any leaves of absence that may affect their benefit. So just a motion would be in order to approve the amended application form.
Make a motion to amend the application form.
Second?
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item V, John Hancock, here's the big one, that I have no information on, because we still have yet to receive any. So, I was at the council meeting along with Ed and Al, and I'm sure you were aware that town solicitor had an answer to the question, basically saying that there is no benefits due to anybody, the town has received it over several years, blah, blah, blah. He's gonna refer it all to the pension board, and we're still awaiting it. We haven't gotten any of the documentation yet. So what you've seen in that open meeting is what we've seen essentially. I have no further information on it. I don't know if you have anything you wanted to add, Kevin, to that, if you had any more.
I requested, because I was getting nowhere,
Right.
I don't pay phone call.
Just so we can have you on the record, please.
Kevin O'Connell, Chairman of the Westboro Police and Fire Disability.
Hi, Kevin.
I did speak with the town manager. Tim didn't have all the information he said, and I says, well, that's okay, because I said, just give me the information you have right now, and I says, I can start notifying the retirees and the widows of the husbands that have signed off on John Hancock, because Mr. Williamson said one name, Mr. Cook, did not sign off, so I was just wondering where his money went. So, after that statement by Mr. Williamson, as you saw, Mr. Williamson had the documents in front of him.
Right.
So I went to, I called up Bernie, asked him to, give me the documents. He says, well, some things might need to be retracted, like social security numbers, and I agree with that.
Okay, yep.
I shouldn't be in possession
Sure.
of those. But the names are very easy to give me, who cares about someone like John Hancock if they signed off on the John Hancock policy, but. I mean,
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended, exactly. So that led me to no response.
Okay.
And then I went down to the town hall the other day, and I put in for a public request for records. And Mr. still haven't heard back from that, so.
Right,
I did
we-
receive your
we
request.
received an APRA
I
request
assume
also,
that the
yeah.
records are between Mr. Williamson, Ernie, town council, and made their way down to this board.
They have,
For
what they
whatever
have,
reason.
what they have, as far as I know, hasn't made it anywhere. Council has informed me there's about 14 boxes full of documents that, who knows what's in there. We're not assuming we're gonna find much more than what they have already, but, I mean, the APRA request was pretty, vague that we had to submit any documents that we had. So, I mean, essentially we'd have to go through everything that we have to see if we have anything for John Hancock. I don't know what we're in possession of and what we're not.
Well, according to Mr. Williamson, he had all the names of everybody, 72 members that were part of John Hancock.
Yeah,
Well,
Why wouldn't it be
I have followed up.
fiduciary on his, you have that?
No, I don't. I have followed up with Attorney Williamson and asked for copies of the documents. I did receive the same response you did. They did not have all the documents yet, but he would forward them upon receipt. But I have not received copies of any documents yet. What David's referring to is in response to the APRA requests that we've received. We received one from Channel 12, which you're aware of.
Correct.
I did also, was forwarded the APRA request that you filed late last week, I think.
Yes. right.
And in response to that, we have been reviewing, well, in response to both requests, we've been reviewing whatever documents the pension board has, and that my office has from prior board counsel for anything that references John Hancock or that's responsive to either APRA request. The request that has been made asking for any documents that refer to the policy is likely a broad request that would encompass an awful lot of documents possibly, that would require an awful lot of review, which we will do. But that's the reference to the 14 boxes of documents that we have.
I get that. But Mr. Williamson went on a tangent, sitting up there, and he told everybody in the audience there was no windfall.
right, he had,
Nobody's
he had
getting
all
a
the
windfall,
information,
right?
yeah.
And they mentioned names,
Right.
including my dad and Mr. Cook, right? So we had some documents
Right.
indicating the people that signed off. Wouldn't it be, everybody wants this thing settled.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
Me-
exactly.
I do.
Correct, everybody wants this
Yeah.
settled. So you have a roadblock, and everybody's wondering why I had Channel 12 here. That's the only reason why I had Channel 12 here, because I roadblock after roadblock after
Sure,
roadblock. And, but, meeting was February 27th. It is now March 13th. If you have the documents, redact all the social security numbers.
Right.
Give me those documents, and I will personally call every retiree and widower and say, look, there's nothing here for you. My mistake, okay? I looked into it.
It's not-
This is what I was told. There's nothing for you here. The guys that didn't sign off, maybe there's something there.
Right.
Nope, then maybe we have to go to a different direction. But to be stonewalled like this,
Yeah,
every inch of the way, where everybody's saying, there's nothing. There's nothing. No, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. And then all of a sudden, a week goes by, 2 weeks goes by, and, no, you don't have it yet. You're the pension board.
Right.
You should have it,
I think so too.
correct?
We were told there are still some information that,
I
So-
understand there may be more names, but
Yeah.
let's start someplace.
right there with you. Unfortunately, I can't produce the documents myself. I mean, they have what they have and we're just awaiting them at this point, so.
Mr. O'Connor, we have a lot of questions, just like you. For instance, he stated, and if I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but he stated at that meeting that, that $66,000 check was after the last person died. And then previous before that, he stated that, I think it was 2 people had not opted out, and one of them was Mr. Cook. Well, Mr. Cook was sitting there at the meeting, and he hadn't died, and so,
I think
you
it
know.
was his dad.
There's
That was his
different
father.
hookups.
Yeah, I believe that was Iris' father.
Okay.
But still, we have to do
I'm
something. We have to do our due diligence.
Sure.
Thankfully.
If Mr. Cook, who Mr. Williamson said, did not sign off on the John Hancock policy.
Yep.
I know from
What?
the John Hancock policies, I saw, there's a death benefit. So was the death benefit inadvertently sent to the town
Instead
instead
of the
of
member.
Ira Cook's mother?
Okay, yeah,
There's
See
a lot
what
of
I'm saying?
questions,
I mean,
right, yeah.
that's a very easy question, and say, okay, the other guys, you signed off. I have your, I'll call it John Henry. Okay, I have your John Henry.
Yep.
You have nothing coming to you, okay?
yeah, but
But
for
there's
those,
72 guys,
yeah,
and to stonewall, and everybody wants it done, and go on this tangent that, you know, everybody's looking for a windfall, and, you know, don't bother me with this, how dare Channel 12? Well, let me tell you, and you know, David, the only reason why I went to Channel 12 is to get answers.
It seems to be working. I think we're getting a little bit more than we knew
It seems to be, but
last
we're
month.
not getting to where we should be and put this thing to rest. You guys must be really frustrated. If I'm frustrated, you work with the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the town council is your boss. Ernie said he was gonna cooperate, and I still get nothing.
Yeah, we get blamed. That's,
Yeah,
that
I
seems
mean,
like.
Yeah, everything's gonna be,
Yeah.
pushed down to the pension board,
Yeah.
and you guys sit there and you still don't have it, and it's a pension issue.
Yep.
Right.
So you understand how frustrated I am. And I hate to get Channel 12 back here again, and go to the town council and say,
Just
hey,
let me know when so I can stay home.
no, not you. See, no, but you see what I'm saying?
I do.
It's so.
But we're not stonewalling you, Mr.
I
O'Connell.
just said you were.
I know, but we're not. But we're taking the blunt of this bull crap, okay? We are. We're taking the blunt of it. The town council had a special meeting. They called everybody in. He said he had what he had. We are waiting for him. We can't go up to him and say, give me the damn thing.
Why
We
can't
can't
you?
do that.
Why can't you?
Maybe that's an assault. And I'll be on Channel 12 again, this time behind bars.
No, but at that meeting, you could have gone up to this Mike and said, Mr. Williamson, you're in possession of the John Hancock documents.
Well, he said he was gonna
He
send
said he
it
was
to
gonna forward
us.
them, but we
So
still
we'll wait,
haven't received
just like they were trusted when they thought the money was gonna be rolled over in 1969, because that's what I was told, we were told, but yet that wasn't done. That wasn't supposed to be done. We heard in other meetings that the money in 1969, the money from the, John Hancock, was gonna be transferred to the pension board, to the pension, because they started in 1969. Well, that never took place, and then Mr. Telia, am I right saying Mr. Telia? He says, well, we took their word.
That was never.
Not you, this gentleman, right,
Both of us.
right. He says, he said, oh, your brothers? Well, one is that little, God bless you, I don't know. Well,
Father,
anyway,
son.
yeah, well, you know, well, I'm saying it was never done, so it was never questioned back then. And now the only reason why, like I said over there, huh?
We don't know.
No, we don't know.
Right.
So come on. And there was 32 other checks, and we put ours on the agenda.
32. Yeah.
Well, we put ours on the agenda, and we get the crap.
Well, the ball is in Mr. Williamson's hand since he made
Yeah,
all those
and we'll
statements
get it.
out in the public, that he gets the rest of the documents and forwards them. At that point, then we should hopefully get our answers.
And I really do think, because of Mr. Williamson's statement, that there were 32 other checks sent to the town.
Well,
He said he
Did
had,
they go into your pension fund?
We don't know.
Or did they go into the general fund? So that would be your due diligence to go to the
Well-
town and say, look, as a pension board, if you accepted those 32 checks from John Hancock and went into your general fund, that isn't where they're supposed to go, because these gentlemen paid
That's
into the
right.
pension fund.
Exactly,
Okay, didn't pay into the general fund. They do that with their taxes.
exactly.
Okay, so that's where this board should be focused, in my opinion, as to if you did indeed get those 32 checks, did they go into the pension fund, which they should have done, or did they go into
Well,
the
I
town?
asked that question. I asked Mr. Williamson that question. I said, where did those 32 checks go? Why weren't they on the agenda at the time it was received so they could be questioned? And he couldn't give me an answer.
There should be a
But
paper
yet,
trail of them.
we're gonna look into it.
well, he had some documents about those 32 checks there, but he didn't say what it was and we didn't see it.
Right, and we didn't
He
see
left
it.
very vague.
And we didn't see it.
I am happy to continue, I have to continue to follow up because I need to respond to the APRA request, so I will certainly do that. But if the board would like to, you know, either the,
Yeah,
well,
we can
I would say
give
the
it a-
chairman, but wait to agenda
Do you
items.
know how many days they have to respond to the request?
To an APRA request?
Yes.
10 business days from the date of receipt, and then if an extension is required, 20 business days from the date of the extension.
I mean, I know Channel 12 is expired, right?
The 10 business days, and there was an extension requested, so it's, I believe it's March 27th.
March 27th.
So we
Don't
will.
quote me on that, I'm
we
doing it
will-
off the top of my head,
I'm
but I'm
sure
pretty
there-
sure it's
I'm
March
sure there
27th.
is.
We will in the next coming month at some point get in touch with Attorney Williamson and request the information that he had promised to give us, and hopefully we'll have something next month for you.
Yeah, because I really think it's out of his hands now.
He made it seem like it was out of his hands.
Didn't he?
That was the vibe that I
That
got
was
from him.
just you got?
But then I didn't get anything, so
Right,
we will ask for
And
them
we're still
and
waiting.
I appreciate that.
hopefully we'll have something for you next month.
Hopefully.
decided to continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else for item V?
Just that we did receive the two APRA requests. I know I think
Yep,
I already
right.
said that.
Sure.
That we'll be responding to. And no, I think I
Alright.
said everything else.
And we will work on the APRA requests. All right, item W, vote for chairman and vice chairman. This was put off a couple months ago. We've been waiting to get 2 more board members to do this. It seems like the attitude from the council at this point is they're holding off for whatever reason. I know there's a lack of applications to the pension board. So just for our own sake, we wanted to nominate a chairman and vice chairman and move forward rather than wait however long it's gonna take to get 2 new members on the board.
They've had 4 meetings and tabled it each time. At the last meeting, at the end, I went up and I questioned, why, and they said they didn't like Mr. Thomas's, what his record was while he was Department of
Okay.
Public Works head, so they weren't gonna approve of it. So it was just gonna keep going that way, and there was only 1 application for the last 2 openings. So, we're gonna sit here in limbo with a vice chair and a second vice chair, and we're really not gonna get much anything done, because we're trying not to step on other people's toes and let them come in so we can all work together. But it doesn't look like it's gonna happen anytime fast, so we decided, I asked if we could put it on and just get a vote, we'll put these people in place, and then we
Move
just go forward with what we
Yeah.
have and try to make the best out of it.
Is that the only 2 offices?
Yeah.
Is chair and vice
Chair
chair?
and vice chair.
That's it.
And I don't know if they have set terms as far as annual, I don't think it's in part of any of the regulations.
I think so. I don't know. I don't think it's set.
Maybe
Dude.
just recall by majority, I would say.
I mean,
There's gonna be some
standards,
motion
right.
or some trigger to remove a chairman, I would assume, but maybe
Biggest
we can
prob-
work on a regulation that drafts some of that stuff too.
We
Biggest
certainly
problem is-
could. We have reserve spots for.
I mean, I don't know if you wanted to wait until we could set up a schedule for office for chairman and vice chair. That way we at least know, all right, chairman is a year, vice chairman's the other year, or whatever you wanna do, and then an ability to recall the chairman. I just don't know if it's needed or if it just makes sense.
So we don't know if there's a term issue, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I
well,
don't
just-
believe
I don't wanna
that
be
there-
voted, or
there's any
you voted the
specified-
chairman
I
or
don't think there's a
anybody,
term,
and you just be the chairman for the next
Who's
20
the
years.
current chairman? He is gone?
He resigned.
Yeah.
He resigned.
Yeah, I was vice chair, I'm now acting chair, and then Mr. Hero was vice chair at this point.
So why don't we just keep you as acting vice chair, because I know you don't want to be chairman.
Right.
And let's make a motion to have Mr. Haru, the chairman, and you be the vice chairman.
If that's the way you wanna make your motion, that's fine. I
That's my
still
motion.
think
The
Maybe
problem
having
is-
some sort of
Go ahead.
ability.
And he'll be here to help you.
Yeah, well, that's good, because he's got more background than anybody.
Exactly.
Well, Mr. O'Connor's at every meeting anyway, so I'm sure if I do something wrong. So,
Somebody
the
will
biggest
think about
problem we have, and I tried to get this across to the council, is by not getting these other 2 positions filled,
The quorum.
the quorum part is, it's based on 7 people, and we don't have, it's already down 2 automatically every single meeting. So, all it takes is 1 person out, and we're already right there, like tonight, we actually didn't have a quorum, because of a last minute call out. So dug this gentleman out of the bed here, so he could come and we could have a quorum. But if we
Sleeping very
couldn't do
good,
that,
Jason.
I'm sorry. I haven't even been able to.
You're not gonna be sleeping tonight, that's for sure.
I'm
Oh,
gonna be
I
all
know. It's gonna be a
quiet.
we owe you a case of cheeseburgers.
No, he
But
is
it's just,
cheaper,
it
french
makes a
fries.
problem, we have, there could be a lot of meetings where we can't get anything done, I almost said the wrong word, anything done,
Yeah.
because we don't have the quorum, and yet, that's gonna happen sometimes, especially with sicknesses or vacations or whatever. And I tried to get that resolved with them, but their answer was, get people to apply.
Well, the people that do apply, they don't apply, that's
Yeah.
why they don't apply,
Yeah, so,
But
it's their own fault.
in regards to the chair runs the meetings, basically.
Right.
The vice chair is the backup. My vote would be to, between us, to get that in place, so there's some semblance of order.
Right, exactly. So I make the motion that Mr. Haru be the chairman, and Mr. Lemoy be the vice chairman.
I would second that.
Motion's made and seconded. I don't know how we can recuse ourselves and still.
All in
vote for
favor?
ourselves.
All in favor?
You can vote for yourselves.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're in. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations, you go see the town manager now.
All opposed?
All right.
What happens
Nice
if we
have
all
it.
oppose?
Congratulations.
All right.
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah.
The only thing I just wanted to add to discussion was for the next meeting. I know there's just a question on the date.
Oh, for April.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, April 2nd.
We also have, though, you
Are we
talk
going
about
with April 2nd,
terms.
or you
and
wanna
stuff
go
like that.
later?
Yep,
Is there a set policy for members that don't show up to these meetings?
I believe there is.
There is, it's in the
Because
town.
Helen's been on here, she's missed more than she's been to.
How many she missed?
Well, they made a remark.
She's only
Well,
been
they
here
made a
5 years.
remark at the meeting.
She's missed 3.
President, Mr. Gazin, the president, he made a remark saying that anyone who misses meetings will be terminated.
Yeah, but it's in the bylaws of the pension,
Right.
it's right in the rules.
Yeah.
It's three, I think.
Is it 3 in a year?
3 a year, 3
In the
3 a month?
charter. It's in the town charter.
It's in the
I can forward everybody the copy of the
Okay.
charter provision.
All right,
We can
Yes,
talk,
I
we can
know.
talk more too.
all right.
And who, but
You should have used it tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
who,
The quorum.
I'm not putting you, I'm not sticking you to this, but who does the enforcement of that from, to your, how you understand it?
The board.
The
This
council.
board or the council?
I would say the board would recognize that there is the issue
The
and
issue.
then
Then you would
give it to the council.
Give it to
So
the
listen, this
council.
person's
Yeah, let
missed
the
X amount
council
of
know.
meetings, and if
Correct.
they wanna
If
remove
they
it.
don't have approved absences, you go to the town council and say, yeah, they.
Because she missed the last
They
one,
missed
too.
3 meetings and she's gone.
She wasn't here for when the town council had a meeting.
Correct.
She was absent.
Oh,
The joint
I
meeting.
understand.
You were,
Yep.
we were
Yep.
here.
Yeah, well, I saw you on
I,
TV.
I wanna say
Thank you.
it's the town
No
charter
order.
2004. I might be wrong. I'll double check
Yeah, we
it. I
can
can
look
email it
into
to
that.
you.
So do you wanna do April 2nd?
That's fine for
Or
me.
you wanna go later?
I'd rather
but-
just do an email so I can,
Or
Sure.
Yeah,
Check your
I
schedule.
wrote it
and
down
plus with,
from up there.
Helene and.
That's the day after Easter.
I hate to,
Correct.
we're
Yeah.
criticizing her for not showing up and then scheduling a meeting without her
Oh,
here. No, I'm just
well,
saying.
I thought we already did this, right?
We
I
had
just
moved
There
it
was
to the
emails
second.
back and
We
forth
did
on
move
that.
it to the
just
second
want-
emails, but I'll double
We'll
check.
double check before
Yeah,
we.
double check that the
check.
second everyone's
Absolutely.
available.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we may have, next month's meeting on the second, so.
And if not, then we'll shoot for that Monday after the 16th. What's that next one? No, it'll be the 1st, the 8th, the 15th.
For what?
The 20-something, if not, I can try for
From,
that
oh, sorry,
following Monday after
I
your
closed my calendar.
vacation.
It would be the 2nd or the 23rd.
All right, or the 23rd. I'll put those two and get the most,
Perfect.
I'm gonna do that quick,
Yeah.
and then just put by Friday, okay.
Alright, any other, items for discussion?
I'm gonna make a motion, we just.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
no.
Go ahead, Al.
You got your discussions?
Lauren.
I know somebody out there can't put your names in, but, we just, Mr. Masachi over there, every month in the letter puts in there about people, putting applications in for the pension board. He pleads like hell, he's crying so much, I get my sheet in the mail and it's, the bottom part's all wet from every, trying to effort to get somebody in there. But, just if you can, get the word, somebody you think that might, be interested, so that we can get people on here. It seems that the council though, because I did it 3 times, at first they didn't want anybody that would work with the town or anything like that, but now there seems the attitude has changed a bit, and we can see that with just the 3 of us right here that are either in or have been working for the town. So, we can get somebody else, or the 2 more spots filled, it's just gonna make things a lot easier.
Who better to look after your pension?
Well, that's,
A former or current town employee?
when
right.
when they appointed me, Mr. Goslin said he was actually against town employees, but then he said, I guess with all the turnover in that, he said, what better person, just what you said, to watch over your money is the people that've got the money in there.
No
So,
better, no better people.
No,
You have a vested
no
interest.
offense.
What's that?
You need outsiders too, but.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but see, I know the investment parts.
Right.
That's why I question these
But
gentlemen.
there's nobody better
Right.
than employees, former employees, to
Exactly.
look after your own pension, because you want it to thrive. And so do the people on there. If you want to get on the board, it must be here for a reason. You want it to
Yeah, I wanna help out. I mean, I live in the town. I don't want my taxes to keep going
I
up.
think it's a good idea that they change their attitude,
Yeah.
and they want former employees and,
Yep.
current employees, because I think it's a good.
Plus, I have a cousin, I used to be on the state pension board, so whenever I have a question, I contact him.
Kevin, I was thinking the other night when all the circus
Right.
was in town, when they mentioned my grandfather and my dad, and that was all, you know, that was just good. That Bertrand's been collecting a paycheck since 1950, so, that's why I decided to come on the board. And it just happened today in an executive session, is the difference of experience. 7 people with different experiences. I came at a problem one way, and it's Dave, right?
Yes.
Dave turned my thinking around because it was closer to him than to me. So I figure all different experiences make better decisions.
That's a decision, absolutely.
So,
Always agree to disagree.
Team, together each achieves more.
Anything else for discussion?
I'll just have one more thing.
If we could just save it for public,
We'll
we
get
got
public
public
comment.
comment
Yeah,
next.
just discussion, then public
Um,
comment.
just to throw it in
Yeah.
for discussion, I have, we have received the pension plan, other than police and fire, the board has just received it tonight. We are gonna be going through it and recommend revisions. We'll have our own meeting and, have recommendations. So that is moving forward, just so everyone's
Yeah,
aware. I don't think I had anything else for discussion. Anything else from the board?
Nope, I'm finished.
Okay, item Y, public comment. Please.
Jerry Clark. Going back to NIHOP.
Chip?
How long are you in the contract with them?
We just did, we put out an RFP for new actuaries.
That's fine.
That was only 6 months ago, let's say, if that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was.
My only suggestion is, it's like building a house. You get a price of a house, next thing you know, you're paying for the extras and the
Yeah.
extras and the extras and the unknowns.
Mhm.
I know when we had Milliman, every year, all the employees got a statement at the end of the year. You didn't have to pay the $3,000. Now, was Milliman cheaper than NIHA? I don't know.
Right.
Travel expenses, you're paying $600 to pay a $450 bill. Doesn't make any sense. Stay home, give me the bill, you save $650. It's craziness, stuff like that. I know you're trying,
Right.
but I think that needs to be looked at in the overall package, travel expenses
Sure.
and the extras,
Right.
if you will.
And like I said, we just did an RFP and we looked at, there was only 3, I think, actuaries that responded to it, and Nyhart was one. Another company, what was it, Sherman and
Sherman.
Associates, or Sherman and Sherman,
Yeah.
and one of them was outrageous in price. I mean,
One for
even,
Florida, yeah.
and they included all the same things, travel is this, monthly
Yeah,
reports
hey,
are that.
man, You have to.
And we went through it, and honestly,
comparison.
Nyhart wasn't off the mark. They were right in line with the other company that, as far as, like I said, one was way off the charts, and then the other 2 was Nyhart, and I can't remember the other.
The other one was too small to deal with us.
The other one only
I mean,
managed
I have it
Yeah.
upstairs, I just can't remember.
it was very, like, their experience was a little questionable, but their pricing was similar to Nyhart's.
Yeah, no, and-
So the
and
board
like I
stuck
said,
with
I
Nyhart
think,
for that reason.
I don't know what the thought process was back then when they just switched it from,
Milliman
Milliman
to-
to NIHA. Whatever it was.
Right.
Different chairman, and, who knows what drives you people to make them decisions. But, like you said, now you got more people to make
Right.
that decision.
But that's why I talked earlier about the contracts, and that's when we start looking at the stuff and see, we get a bill, but it doesn't tell you what, and we don't know
Oh,
if,
yeah, absolutely.
so we're gonna look into that.
Thank you, Jerry.
And just one other thing,
Sure, Mr. O'Connell.
the opt-out,
Yes.
do you have the figures?
We have gone through what figures Tracy can go through.
I'm trying to like produce, we don't have any information.
Some of the figures were calculated by Nyhart, some of them were calculated by Milliman. We don't have some of the Milliman documents. We've been going through everything we have and everything we can
I
get
think I have it though.
as
I
of
have the number.
Friday.
I nudged it up, so I know how I got there.
So guys opted out, wouldn't they be under NIHA? Because they were getting everything until the pensions were cut, correct?
they don't have, healthcare, which that was the major change for you guys, right? It was healthcare
No,
changes.
that has nothing to do with the opt-out, because that's the town side, the healthcare issue. That has nothing to do with
Okay,
the
so
pension
what-
issue.
yep.
The pension issue is the calculation of whether the 66 2/3 is calculated minus the holiday pay,
Yep,
or do they get holiday pay, or do they get the ordinance that was in place, a 20% across the board cut?
okay,
That's what brought us to the table.
right.
Was the 20% cut of our pension.
They were gonna cut the benefits
They
We,
were
20%.
we've
pension.
done a much more comprehensive review.
Yeah, maybe we did too much.
Yeah, I think we did.
We wanted to see what differences overall, because I mean, healthcare, although it's not coming from the pension fund, we
It's
wanted
still
to
a
give you,
difference.
we wanted to
Right.
say,
Yeah, we
this is
know
also
those
part of
answers.
whatever they
We
have,
already
so.
know those answers.
Yeah.
We went like full bold. You
I was wondering why it's taking 2 years. My God.
No,
you guys
no,
are
it's
doing
been
a
two.
lot of work for individuals.
I've got 2 years.
And I didn't even get paid for it.
Don't take 4 years, because I gotta get to work soon.
I
Can you
didn't get to
briefly
work.
explain opt-out, you're talking about this, and I get lost.
5 years ago, town came and said they were going bankrupt. Pension plan was going bankrupt. They needed concessions from the regular retirees.
Right, okay.
disability guys.
I remember that.
Okay, we negotiated in good faith. We took a 5% reduction and we gave up the escalation clause.
Okay,
When a fire policeman gets a raise, we don't get that anymore. The only
Okay.
thing we get now is, starting next year, we get a 2% COLA.
okay.
Okay, but there was 40-some individuals that were police and fire. 37 chose to join the organization, went to Superior Court and signed off on the 5% reduction and giving up the escalation clause.
Okay.
We no longer get that. So if a policeman gets 5% raise, we don't get that. We don't get 2/3 of that anymore.
I get you, you just get the.
We just get whatever the policeman gets, plus we get longevity. We don't get the holiday pay included in our pension.
Okay.
Okay, so we gave that up, so we had to go to Superior Court, each one of my guys had to sign on the, in Superior Court, because we didn't do a class action, we did an individual, so
Okay.
they all had to sign. We found out 4 individuals didn't sign, so my question was, what happened to those guys? Did they get the
Those are
20?
the opt-outs, the 4
Because they were asked to join our organization, they opted out, that's how the opt-out came.
Right, now I'm getting it, yep.
So now I'm saying, well, what happened to those guys? Did they get to 2020? Or did you inadvertently give them what my guys got? Okay, but if you gave them what my guys got, they never went to Superior Court and signed the affidavit for the MOU. So how could they get that benefit or that lack of benefit? Or did they get no reduction? Or did they just take those 4 individuals and continue to give them holiday pay and 2/3 of what a policeman and fireman gets?
Oh, I get you, okay.
So,
That's what-
my question is, what are they actually getting? I mean, that's a simple question. I mean,
Seems simple.
well, yeah, I mean, they made it kind of
It-
difficult.
we made-
So they're not part of your organization?
Correct, for individuals, so,
They're not part of any of the other organizations?
no.
So they have
Really
some
long
kind of
answer.
agreement?
No.
They're collecting money under some kind of an agreement?
Well, they're collecting their disability pension,
Yeah.
But did they get the reduction
yeah, that's
as
the
my guys
question.
did?
No, I'm saying they're under some kind of an
They're
agreement.
under some,
We,
We know.
we've reviewed the
Yeah.
MOU and the consent judgment for all changes. And
We
are
did.
reviewing what's happening with the individuals who opted out for everything that changed. That's what's going back and forth, not just the longevity and the holiday pay.
so
Also,
you did the healthcare too.
We did everything.
we did every
Yeah.
change that's in your MOU and your consent
We
judgment.
tried to figure out.
We checked off a list of, did it change, didn't it change, should it change, shouldn't it change, et cetera.
Mm.
That's the process.
Let's go, one more quick question, Mike. The 4 people, I don't name any names, and I know you wouldn't anyway. You think it was, a calculated plan for them, or they just forgot to sign, or?
No, we reached out to them and they just chose, it was a scary thing. You know, everybody
At
was
the time,
gonna
yeah,
take
it probably was,
5%.
yeah.
I had to tell my guys, you know, the town is in trouble. We have to give up something. So we went to Fred Presley without any attorneys. We signed an MOU. This is what we're willing to give up, this is what we want. Okay? That's what was signed. But the individuals that didn't sign, we gave them every opportunity to say, this is how much it's gonna cost you to join the organization. This is what we're bargaining for, right here. If you wanna join, you're welcome to it. We notified them 3 times, we didn't hear anything.
Right.
So they opted out under us because when we went to court, they weren't in the courtroom.
I get you, so
They
if,
didn't sign their John Henry.
John Henry, yeah. So theoretically, if the town did go bankrupt, then they theoretically would've went with the town. 'Cause
Well,
they-
that's the $1 million question. What happened to those individuals? Was the town really in financial trouble, or they just continue paying those guys the regular 66 2/3 that we were told the town needed to sustain this pension? So if they didn't take the cut as my guys did, then was the town really in financial trouble? Or was it just a play to seduce 37 guys and make them sign an affidavit giving up certain rights under the
Right.
pension, where other individuals didn't give
Did
up
not.
that right? And to me, that's fine, and whatever it is, okay? I mean, whether we can bring them under our MOU, if that's what needs to be, we can do that, if they're willing. If they're not, if the town is just gonna say, we never took away anything, we're gonna leave it, well, that's
That's
thing
a
for our
different-
attorney.
Right, yeah.
That's a thing for our attorney to
We,
explain.
we will get that information to you. I don't know how much we can just give you right now, or what you already have prepared, but like they
We
said.
have like 75%, I mean, we have like 95% of what you're actually asking for. We have like 75% of what we're doing going through the whole MOU. We're just waiting for the answer from the town for two questions at this point, from our meeting last week. So we are very hopeful that there will be an answer in April. We are waiting for an answer from Mr. Williamson.
Your friend.
Right.
Better shot one
But we
We
Powerball.
really
We
thought
have
you
some
wanted
way.
a full bowl, like, 'cause he was
Better shot one
we
Powerball.
went through like everything. Which is good.
It is good, I mean, it is good.
I just, is there anything else?
No, that's,
All right, anything else for public comment? I just have one question. Last month we received Patrick Kelly's application. Was there anything on that? Because I didn't see it in this month's for approval or
I
discussion.
put question, I could put him back on.
Did we get his figures though? I mean, did anything go, it was approved, or it was received last month?
I have not got his figures yet, because I asked the question, when do I submit that? He doesn't have all his years in.
What is it? All right. I'll have to look at his application.
Remember, he
Yeah.
had like 14 years, he has to have like 20.
They
He's
could-
the one that you have to let me know when he can collect it at the age or the years. Remember, I
Right,
put the
right.
question
Yeah, I was
mark.
just wondering what's
I'm
going
gonna
on
have
with
to
that.
put him back on.
I mean, he's
We got
entitled.
time for him.
Yeah, he's entitled to vested benefit though. Did he apply for a vested benefit
I don't-
or a normal
I
pension?
think it might be normal. Remember I put the question?
Yeah.
I'll put it back on next
Yeah,
month.
put him back on. But we haven't gone to Nyhart with anything yet.
No, because I don't know how to do it,
Can we at least go to Nyhart and get what they,
how they would interpret it.
right, how would
You
they
want me to try that?
Yeah, I mean, his
Sure.
years of service aren't gonna change. We can at least get the calculation.
Okay.
They can give you the calculations on whatever the benefit stands. It's just the time when you
When
can
does it
collect,
trigger?
that's a
Yeah.
Well,
question.
I guess that's
Right.
why I don't know what to do, and that's why I've been waiting.
Yeah, no,
That's
we can get the numbers anyway.
Just send it.
Well, you can send it, they can calculate what that benefit is worth.
Right,
But
It's just
he
when
can't
can he
get it.
collect, that's the question.
right. So
Right,
we
but
can-
they- it's still gonna be
Okay,
worth the
I wasn't
same.
instructed to do that on the thing, so I thought we were gonna talk about it more. I
Yeah,
usually
I mean,
don't send it.
you can't vote on something that's not on the agenda.
Right.
So
Okay.
you can add it to next month's agenda to vote, to send the figures to Nyhart to calculate.
I mean, it was received
Well, it
last
was
month.
received,
It was
so I
received.
can just do that on my own.
Oh, all right,
But
because
I
the
guess-
application's already received,
guess-
but you're
So we
not,
can-
okay.
I guess
And then we
my
can discuss.
question is,
Discuss it next month on the timeline.
I'm gonna send it to
collecting.
NIHA and then it'll just sit. So I figured if you guys decided which way, then I send it when it comes closer to his time. I can do it either way. But
That's
if
the
you
one
wanna
that's-
get it
let's
out
get
of the way,
I think you'd rather know.
that's why I didn't put it back on
Yeah.
the agenda.
Just to get the
Normally I
number.
hold
Yeah, because
those.
if he's not gonna get the benefit he wants, he may wanna do something different. You know
That
what I
is
mean?
fine.
So I
But
think
if
he'd
you
rather
wanna
know
do
sooner
that,
rather
sure.
than later. So
But
we can at least,
normally I would hold it, I can hold it till it comes closer.
Right.
to
Right,
the time.
but the question that he needs answered, that's
When does his
that's
benefit
when does his
So-
when does his
Start.
benefit start?
I might as well, I guess I
Right.
can send it now.
Right.
So the amount of the benefit we can find from
That
Nyhart,
won't
but the
change.
board,
That
right,
won't
will have to
change.
make a decision on
Right,
the
that's why
timing.
I was
I
holding
understand.
it,
Yep.
Yep,
but I'll
So-
send it. if
Yeah,
I can.
perfect.
Sure.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very